If you walk into a tattoo parlor today, you'll find sterile needles, electric ink guns, and people choosing designs based on aesthetic or personal meaning. It's often seen as a form of modern rebellion or artistic expression. But tattoos are not a modern invention. In fact, if you could travel back 5,000 years and peel back the animal hides of our ancestors, you would find skin covered in dark, permanent markings. But they weren't just decorating themselves. For ancient humans, a tattoo was a medical prescription, a spiritual shield, and a permanent ID card. So why did our ancestors spend thousands of years enduring the pain of bone needles and charcoal ink? The story of ancient tattoos changed forever in 1991, when two hikers in the Alps discovered a frozen body emerging from a glacier. This was Ötzi, the Iceman, a man who lived over 5,000 years ago. When scientists examined his remarkably preserved skin, they found 61 tattoos, but they weren't pictures of animals or gods. They were simple groups of lines and dots located on his lower back, knees, and ankles. When archaeologists looked closer, they noticed something incredible. Ötzi's tattoos were placed exactly over areas of his body where his skeleton showed signs of severe wear and tear, specifically joint pain and spinal degeneration. They weren't art, they were medicine. Long before the invention of acupuncture in China, ancient Europeans were using medicinal tattooing to treat chronic pain. They would cut the skin and rub in charcoal, creating a permanent treatment site that stimulated the body's healing response. But as human civilizations grew, the purpose of the tattoo expanded from the physical body to the social body. In the vast frozen steppes of Siberia, archaeologists discovered the remains of a 2,500-year-old prehistoric princess. Unlike the simple dots on the Iceman, her skin was covered in elaborate flowing images of mythical creatures and leaping deer. For her culture, tattoos were a visual resume. They told the story of your family, your status, and your achievements. In a world with no paper documents, your skin was your ID card. If you were a great hunter or a powerful leader, you wore that proof on your arms for everyone to see. Beyond identity, tattoos were also a form of prehistoric biohacking. Many ancient cultures believed that the world was filled with invisible spirits and malicious forces. Tattoos were used as permanent amulets, symbols of protection intended to ward off bad luck or illness. In ancient Egypt, archaeologists found mummies of women with tattoos of the god Bez on their thighs, a deity associated with protecting women during childbirth. By marking the skin, they believed they were weaving a spiritual armor directly into their biology. But how did they actually do it without modern technology? It was a slow, agonizing process. They used sharpened bird bones, thorns, or fish spines to tap ink deep into the skin. The ink itself was usually made of soot or charcoal, mixed with water or plant juices. Biologically, this process is fascinating. When an ancient needle pushed charcoal into the dermis, your immune system would immediately attack. Specialized cells called macrophages would rush to the wound and eat the ink particles to try and clear them out. But the particles were too big to digest. The cells would get stuck, holding the ink in place forever. Your tattoo is actually just a permanent standoff between your immune system and a piece of ancient soot. We often think of history as something written in dusty books or carved into stone. But for most of human existence, history was written on us. Our ancestors used tattoos to map their pain, define their place in society, and talk to the gods. They turned their bodies into living diaries. The next time you see someone with a sleeve of tattoos, remember that they aren't just following a trend. They are participating in a tradition that is older than the pyramids, a tradition of humans refusing to be anonymous and choosing to wear their story on their skin until the very end.